Hello guys, welcome to another episode of the Weekly Feedback. I'm your host, Caveman PRDR. This is going to be episode 9 for week 9. I'm going to be a little bit late to the party on this one, so this one should drop on Tuesday before the reset. And we've got a good little bit to cover here today. Quite a few, probably 6 or so bullet points that I really wanted to go over. Firstly, the Lightfall weapons and gear trailer has released as of this past week. I'm not going to actually show the video here, but I will leave a link in the description down below. It gives hints to some of the exotics that are coming up, weapon and armor, specifically one armor piece for each class, and a couple of other three weapon exotics. So I just wanted to throw that out there real quick. Also want to talk about the weekly Bungie developer article, which is this past Wednesday. Chris Proctor, senior lead design, teased the season 20 weapon tuning review. Some notable bullet points: they're adding red reticle to PC, linear fusion rifles, specifically legendaries, getting a nerf. Champions, mini bosses of vehicles by 15%. Sleeper, simulant, and Queenbreaker are unaffected as they are exotics. Machine guns getting easier TT, getting based on their archetype, getting easier TTKs in PvP. Some may remain unchanged, and getting ammo reserve buffs as well. This affects some varying exotics. Some get a buff in one way and others don't. Example, Xenophage I don't believe is affected with the ammo or the buff or the damage buff, but I think if I'm not mistaken, Grand Overture may be buffed in one of the two ways. But anyway, overall buff to machine guns for the most part. Heavy GLs get a buff as well. So would be very much looking forward to heavy GLs. Wendigo is going to be a weapon that's going to be in the Nightfall rotation. Highly recommend getting an explosive light roll for that. Shotguns are getting a little bit of a change with reticles and Legend of Acris as well. Kinetic weapons or kinetic slot weapons are getting a damage buff. Specifically kinetic, not so much stasis. Some changes to some exotics to match along with their subclass 3.0 verbiage. Some including Queenbreakers, Ruinous Effigy, Leviathan's Breath, 1000 Voices, Sunshot, Polaris Lance, Two-Tailed Fox, Prometheus Lens, Grand Overture. And there are going to be some changes with hipfire reticles for the Manticore. They're working on doing some more reticle or hipfire reticle changes to exotics. Perks, Osmosis is going to work with Strand, so is Elemental Capacitor, giving plus 20 airborne effectiveness. I would highly encourage possibly investing into that for some of your builds, especially for those of you that want to use Stompies and are committed to Stompies. Plus 20 AE is a good way to kind of build out of your negative 50. Rewind Rounds is getting rebuilt to work on non-vault of glass weapons. Spoiler alert, the last time they did this for the Deepstone Crypt weapons, and then all of a sudden the Deepstone Crypt weapons became craftable, so do not be surprised if the Vault of Glass weapons are the next set of raid weapons to become craftable. And they are basically, I think they're buffing Eager's Edge here. Not really going to go over all of that. Renaming blinding nades on grenade launchers to disorienting grenades. Vice Stinger getting a nerf, only reloading up to 25% of the magazine when procced. And something I'm going to talk about later covers this, but we'll just have it over here for now. So yeah, that was the weekly developer blog. On Wednesdays, these are releasing fairly often. They've released like I think they've done at least one important dev blog the last like 3 or 4 weeks. Highly encourage keeping notes and taking a look at that on Twitter. So we'll go over some other things now, including the DCP Firing Range podcast. There was an interview with one of the weapon devs, Mercules, this past week, going over a lot of the details about what I just read out to you. So I want to leave a link for this in the comments for y'all to take a look at if y'all have some downtime, maybe during work or something. Highly encourage y'all taking a look at that. So that way you can get a little bit more of a clarification on some of the details. So I'm going to go over some more of the tweets and things, specifically from Bungie Help and some other websites. So Bungie Help, we are currently investigating reports of progress loss potentially affecting a small population of players who deleted a character in the last 48 hours. More info will be provided when available. I actually had someone comment on my last week of the weekly feedback. I had someone comment on this and tell me that they were having a problem with this like 30 minutes to an hour before Bungie Help even tweeted this out. So I was very surprised that I got something in my YouTube comments that quickly. So, not that I can even do anything about that, but if y'all ever want to make comments about anything like this or any kind of problems they all have, not that I can do anything about it, but feel free to let me know in the comments if there's something that y'all want to make me aware of. I will see about covering it. I asked permission from the commenter to see if I could talk about it. Basically, they said, I don't know if it's just me, but I recently made a new hunter, deleted all his gear, and started fresh. Today's reset basically deleted my hunter. There's another Titan there now, and all my weapons got placed on my warlock. Not sure what's going on. So from what I understand, I could be incorrect in what I am reading, but I'm assuming he had one character each. He had deleted his hunter, all his gear. He had deleted his original hunter, made a new hunter, and then on today's reset, the new hunter was disappeared, was replaced by a Titan, and all of the weapons that the old hunter had got put on his warlock, or their warlock. Forgive me for misuse of pronouns if possible, but yeah. Anyway, I had a first-hand comment on this. I recommended restarting whatever way of play, whether it was console or PC, and they said that they still had that same issue. So that is very unfortunate. I hate that for that player, but we will be hopefully hopefully this isn't a reoccurring issue. As far as I'm aware, they haven't solved this or figured out what has happened or what the issues with this is. I could be totally wrong. They could have already fixed this possibly. It's a little this is a very odd one, but we've had a lot of odd glitches and things this season. So, we're going to move right along to the next set of topics, including some more things about Lightfall. Um, Destiny Bulletin leaked the new Lightfall 6-player activity, Terminal Overload. So it's literally going to be I guess the new seasonal activity is literally going to be a 6-player activity called Terminal Overload. And when I say leak, I mean they just made this post. It wasn't like leaked footage or anything. That's just they announced what it is, what the name of it is, and then gave a description of it, which is the Shadow Legion and the Vex are conducting an all-out assault on the city, putting an end to their destruction in the 6-player match-made activity. So I'm assuming it's a joint operation between the Vex and the whatever faction of the Vex is controlled by the Witness and the Shadow Legion, which obviously works under Callus, who is a simp for the Witness. So Cool, we got information on that. Um, Destiny 2 team gave us a preview on some of the Lightfall raid details, which will launch on Friday, March 10th at 9 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. Contest mode for the raid will be active for the first 48 hours, ending on Sunday, March 12th at 10 a.m. PDT, Pacific Daylight Time. So, anybody that's wanting to play the raid on the first weekend without contest mode, you're going to be SOL. I'm personally not a day one raid racer to begin with. I would love to watch other people do it. I kind of feel for the people that wanted to play it on the opening weekend without having to do contest mode, but hopefully maybe the raid's just going to be difficult enough where they're not entirely sure that people are going to be able to clear it on day one, so maybe they extended that to 48 hours. And people have made other comments about this and whatnot. I'm not going to make any comments about it. I just want to deliver the news. If I plan on making comments about it, I may make a separate video on it, but for now, just presenting. So, yeah, those are some more of the details in Lightfall Raid. And the last thing I wanted to cover is this week at Bungie announced the new Festival of the Lost armor sets for voting. I'll quickly go over some things. Exotic Greatness, so this is them actually going over the trailer that we talked about earlier. And then they actually have bullet points down here for the 6 exotics that are in the trailer. Final Warning, which is a weapon. Deterministic Chaos, which is a weapon. Winter Bite, which is a weapon. Hunter Exotic Helmet. Titan Exotic Boots. Warlock Exotic Boots. So I'm not even going to pretend that I can pronounce the Hunter's helmet, but I will be looking forward to gameplay of it and seeing how it works. Picture of the Final Warning exotic, picture of the Deterministic Chaos exotic, picture of the Winterbite exotic. Basically, this part of the TWAB goes over what we spoke about earlier regarding some of the weapon changes that have been, or some of the weapon tuning changes that have been announced recently. They go over Bye Bye Blues, which basically is just to recap it, it's just basically blues being depreciated over once you get to the soft cap of the season. So blues shouldn't drop, or they should drop significantly less. If I'm not mistaken, they're supposed to be completely depreciated. Or they're not supposed to drop from you. For you, anyway. They're going to talk about the Lightfall maintenance downtime, which Destiny 2 will be brought offline for 24 hours the day before. So, pretty much last whole day to play will be the 26th. 27th offline, 28th, boom, we're here. Cabal Scorpions need some tough love, so basically they just go back over the fact that Iron Banner's here, just in case anyone's watching and somehow not playing. And they're also talking about the Bite of the Fox returning and Joram's Claw, a pulse rifle, returning. Some things we went over in the last TWAB. Celebrating Black History Month, so they're talking about the Black at Bungie Inclusion Club. Speaking here, and then polls are open regarding what the next Trials map will be. If I'm not mistaken, it'll be the next one. So once Iron Banner's done, they have the community vote on which Trials map it should be. To be honest, I'm not excited to play any of these in Trials whatsoever. I think all 3 of them are not going to be a fun time. The Fortress and Radiant Cliffs. It seems like it's going to be a really big problem to me. Honestly, I think Radiant Cliffs is going to be too bright for me to really want to play that. The Fortress, I don't mind the map in 6v6, but it's not going to be one I want to play for Trials. Twilight Gap would probably take my vote, but this is literally voting for the worst of 3 evils. So, the lesser of 3 evils, I should say. And player support report. They go over important update and then some reminders for some last minute things about the season before Lightfall begins, and then some of the known issues. So, if y'all have anything to talk about or any glitches that y'all have experienced that you don't really see being talked about, have any comments about the weapon tunings or anything that I've mentioned before, let me know down in the comments. Thank you and have a good week.